Welcome to today's podcast on Spiritual AI Podcast. And I've got my beautiful friend and an expert in her field, beautiful Stephanie McCurdy here with me. Stephanie is a certified human design and gene keys alchemist who's been dedicated to these transformative fields since she had her own profound experience, which changed her life. So I'm not going to say anything further. I'm going to dive right in. Welcome to the podcast today, Stephanie. I am really, really appreciative of you being here, considering that this is, I think, our third time that we've tried to. And I think we tried like 3 or 4 times this morning just to get on. So it's the right time. So thank you for being here.
Hi, Leonie. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for the invite. I appreciate it. I've been doing Jinkies for a few years now, guiding people. And I came across it myself a few years ago. I was quite successful in the career I was in. I was doing well. I was kicking goals, hustling and grinding. And to be honest, I was completely burnt out.
Mm.
I came across human design and I did my chart and I went down this rabbit hole and it absolutely changed my life. When I started experimenting with it and showing up for, how I was supposed to, to be more in alignment and to avoid the pitfalls in life, then my whole life changed. My business changed, my relationships changed, my parenting changed. And it was such a profound change that, if you knew me then, you don't know me at all now. But then I wanted to teach other people and help other people with this. So that led me on that path to getting certified. And now what I do is I guide other people through their human design and gene keys.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. You know what, it's interesting that, most people will know this, but there is this pivotal moment. There's this moment that is just that shift, that pivot, that change, right? That draws us into the direction of where we need to be and where we can just live in alignment and live from this beautiful space of just it's wonder. It's delicious is the word that comes to mind, right? Not always. Sometimes it's hard, but we have this really hard moment that then shifts us into the space where we live our truth. And it sounds like that you are in that space right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Like I sometimes feel that I always had an inkling. I always had a knowing that there was something more out there. And I guess from a young age, you're asking all these questions and you're being shut down. And then you have the conditioning not only from your parents, but, society and education and childhood. And you kind of forget yourself. You forget who you are and why you're here. You fit into this lovely little box to conform. And then, and I'm getting shivers as I'm saying this. And then, the human design, the gene keys has really helped me to come back to myself, to actually see myself and understand myself, that there's nothing wrong with me. I don't have to
Yeah.
be the same. It's okay to be the black
Yeah.
sheep and be different because there's so many wounded adults walking around feeling that they've never fit in and they don't here. And that's why I'm very passionate about the parenting side also of human design, to really empower our kids or really help them grow up to who they truly are, not trying to bring our kids up the same way. We're just doing the best that we can for them so they feel like, because we're all very, very unique and we all have different gifts to bring here and we forget.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you're touching on something very true there, that this journey is all about understanding ourselves first. And once we understand ourselves first, whether it is through gene keys or human design or astrology or numerology or however you want to look at yourself, and in my case, the way that I teach my clients and students is through awareness and intuition. So that connection with the soul. You all of that, once you understand who you are and you've got a better understanding of who you are and what it is that you like and don't like, and you dive a little bit deeper, that's when life just becomes beautiful. That's when life kind of starts making sense, right? It becomes easier. There's a clarity and a calm and an ease that comes over, your life. Even when you go through difficult circumstances, you still have that understanding of who you are, what you want, and it just becomes easier. Life just becomes easier.
Yes, exactly. It's just more ease and flow because then when you understand yourself and you see yourself, then you show up as yourself. Then everything just shifts and falls into place, and things that aren't meant to be there just fall away, and it makes room for the stuff that is supposed to be in your life. I find, a lot of women when they become mothers, this is a huge shift because they're like, then going, who am I? What do
Yeah.
I like? What do I enjoy? What hobbies do I, because they forget and then they refine themselves after this cloud of lack of sleep and nappies and you
Yeah.
know.
It's true. And for myself as well, I understand the whole, motherhood, and then there's so many, there's actually, if and this, I really appreciate the fact that you're bringing this to mothers and fathers and children as well, because if we can get our kids to understand who they are, then when they go through these iterations of themselves, from the toddler to, or the young kid into teenager, that iteration, and then from a teenager to young adult, a young adult into, maybe parenthood, and then from parenthood to no kids. I'm going from parenthood to, I'm almost at that stage where, well, one of my daughters, Phoebe, she's
Yeah,
out there. She's got her car now, she's driving around, she's got a beautiful new relationship, she's out. And I already, not having one child in the home, I feel there's this emptiness.
mm,
And I have to now sit with that iteration, with the kids
yeah,
growing up. And it's all, and through every single one of those iterations, through every one of those stages, we need to find ourselves again. So if we
then
can
yeah.
understand who we are at the core, it will help us transition through life with ease again. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how we want to be. Be who you're truly here to be. You're
Yeah.
very unique. You came here for a reason. You chose this
That's
human
it.
experience and don't fit into the molds. Just find yourself, uncover yourself. That'll uncover your truth. But it takes courage and bravery, because sometimes we
Oh,
have to
yes.
step outside. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's safe to be like hidden. And then but again, it just gives you this freedom and this lease of life that you don't even know is out there, and you know,
It
it's
is.
a journey. It's a journey.
For sure. And you're right. There is that, you have to, there's the light with the dark, right? The dark with the light. You've got to look at the things that you have to work on. I don't like using the negative side of us, or, the darker side of us. Like, it's just part of me. It's the other side of the coin, right? We have to look at the other side of the coin as well. It's not just all sunshine and roses. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Just to have an awareness of our shadows, because even when we can see we're dipping into that frequency or vibration, just to
Mm.
have that awareness going, oh, I can see it's rearing its ugly little head. How can I
Yeah.
shift?
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, awareness helps with that, just by the way. So okay, so I want to just quickly ask you before we dive into, now you're going to do something beautiful. You've taken my chart and we're going to just run through a couple of things. Like, we don't have to do like this massive in-depth thing, but I want to just give you the opportunity to share a little bit so the audience can hear some of your magic and feel some of your magic as well. And just as a side note, Steph is going to be one of our experts in sacred healing, which is launching right now. So if you haven't registered for sacred healing, click the link. It will be in the show notes, and come and have a look at the live Zoom call. Come and join us for the live Zoom call. And then we will tell you everything about what sacred healing is, who is in there. And we've got, along with Steph, there's 3 other experts coming in to guide and support you guys on this healing journey. So it's going to be magic. Now, Steph, before we dive into the human design side, I want to just, I've heard about gene keys and I've seen it a few times, and I know that there's this thick book with a lot of stuff in it. And I was like, yep, that's not for me. So can you just give the audience like bite size, what is Gene Keys and how can it support them in their life? And then if they're interested, then they can always reach out to you, because we'll have your details at the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gene Keys is basically the wisdom words that you come to this human experience with. It's locked in your genetic profile. It's locked in your DNA. It's locked in every cell and atom in your body. And it allows you to illuminate and shine a light on areas in your life and the shadows and the gifts there without waiting for a circumstance to come up to like trigger you to heal from. So if you're feeling blocked or stuck or at a crossroads, or any of these, I suppose, life things come up, the gene keys is goes in there really deep. It's like one of my clients says, it wasn't like you were peeling off the onion, you chopped the onion in half. It's powerful and potent, and it has so many layers to it. But really, yeah, in essence, it literally is in your genetic profile, what is in there. And I actually have an honors degree in biology and nutrition as well, and that comes into the gene keys. It's crazy. All these have like integrated to get me where I am today. And I also work with the gene keys in human design because they do have some crossovers as well.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful.
yeah, so that's kind of, I don't know, was that clear or makes
It
sense?
was actually.
Walking through the
It sounds like Gene Keys is kind of like a is almost like a cheat code. Because once you know the codes that you carry,
Yeah,
you
that's it. We all have a
yeah,
chart as well, and they're all different numbers between 1 and 64 of our different levels of consciousness. So it works with the consciousness.
yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of like a cheat code to see where you are and what shows up in the themes, and to see where the shadows or the gifts are coming through, and how to, I suppose, raise that frequency and the vibration of those. So you're living within the gift of what you chose for this human experience.
So those you said 64 codes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Or 64 keys. So
Yeah.
um do they change as as you grow, as you get older, like in different stages, or do those gene keys do they stay the same
They
right
stay
through?
the same. They stay the
Okay.
same. So if you've ever seen a Gene Keys chart, there's all these little bubbles, okay, little circles everywhere. And you can each one has a theme. Like one might be your life's work, what you're here to do in this human experience, and what you're here to do to offer the collective. So that bubble can be one of 64 levels of consciousness. And every level of consciousness, we have a shadow, a gift, and a higher gift. And
Mm.
every number between 1 and 64 also has a flavor between 1 and 6. So you can be 1.1 or 1.2, 1.3. So there's a lot in
Okay.
it. There's different flavors of it, but there are different themes in your life. So one kind of
Yeah.
goes around your life's work purpose, one's around relationships, inner child, and one's around like abundance, prosperity. Yeah, it's never ending. And it's one of those things that it's quite feminine. It's ever changing, ever moving while you are growing in your self-development and learning. You can come back to the same thing a year later and it means something different
And you'll see
because,
something different.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like a DNA actually, a spiral. It's all spiraling back on itself all the time.
That spiral, right? That's what it
Yeah,
is. It's that theme that runs through your life. And if you don't look at it now, it's going to come up in a year's time or 2 years' time, and you're going to look at it again and you might see it from a different perspective, different stage in your life. But yeah, eventually you need to look at those themes because that's what you're here to look at, right? Sounds
exactly,
very,
exactly.
very interesting.
It is. It's very deep, but yeah, it's very interesting and I love it. It's life-changing.
Beautiful. So I'm assuming that you definitely do gene keys with your clients as well. So if somebody wants a chart drawn up or however you
Yeah.
guys do it, you do that with your clients?
Yes, I do. I do that with
Yeah.
clients and programs and workshops and everything. So I work
Yeah.
with Jinkies and human design. Yeah. Together
Love
or
it. Love
separate.
it. Hey,
Together or separate. Do you know what I mean? I
together
can
or
work with
separate.
them
Yeah.
both together in a session or can keep them completely separate if somebody wants one or the other. Yeah.
One or the other. Yeah. Beautiful. Well, it's now that you've explained it to me in that way, I might look into it. I don't know that I would buy the book and dive into it though, but I will.
Even the book is huge for me. It's very
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, and I was reluctant to even open the book because it's huge and It doesn't make sense, a lot of it, because it's trying to dumb down these levels of consciousness into English language. And sometimes it lands and sometimes it doesn't. Or then you're going for a walk or having a shower, you're like, oh, Eureka, I have it. But then it's gone again. It comes and goes. Like it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It sounds, I can totally get that because I've had those experiences just in normal life and on this journey of this development, spiritual development, self-development. So I totally get it. Thank you for explaining that and giving me clarity, and I'm sure it will bring clarity to the audience as well. So, all right, now I am really eager to dive into a little bit of human design. First of all, what is human design? Where does it come from? And yeah, how can it support us? Just give us a little bit of background on it.
Yeah, so human design has been around for a long time. It was a guy called Ra who actually came up with it. And for me, it's a lovely blend of quantum physics and spirituality and science. It blends in the two of them. And there's some I Ching, Kabbalah, and astronomy, and a few different modalities thrown in there to, I guess, come up with the human design. And for me, it's like what I was saying before, to see yourself and understand yourself. When I saw my human design chart and then I read it, it was like a breath of fresh air. It was like, oh my God, this makes sense. My life makes sense. I can see exactly where I've been conditioned and I can see where I'm showing up. So I can see where I've been showing up in this sort of a way when I am actually this. And I forgot I did that because I forgot who I was. I forgot my real self. So it's a remembrance of who we
Mm.
are. And, we all lose our way. So then the human design kind of gives you a roadmap. That's what I like to say to people. It gives you a roadmap to allow you to avoid the pitfalls in life and live your life as much in alignment as you can. It's not to put you in a box saying you must do this and you can't do that or none of that. It's just say, hey,
Yeah.
this is your roadmap, and if you follow this, or if what resonates with you, go with it and leave what doesn't, leave the rest. And it can get very deep, the human design also. So yeah, there's so many moving parts, intrinsic bits and pieces.
There is. So what I did was, and this was actually before we even had, actually even before you jumped on board with Sacred Healing and just, and said that you would join us for Sacred Healing. I printed out my chart and the two girls. I printed out the chart, so I have had a look at it.
Yeah.
But it's been on the book. It's been on the bookshelf because I don't really understand it. Like it looks interesting. It looks pretty, the chart, but I don't understand it. So it's interesting. Like you said something just then that I wanted to I want to just bring that awareness to the audience. And it is when you said like when the chart, it's not that the chart says you have to be this. So quite often when people, when I see clients come through, when we talk about life purpose, I I explain it to them in this way and say that, if you can be a healer but not in the sense of being a doctor or a surgeon or even a sound healer or a Reiki practitioner healer. You can be a healer simply by being a school teacher and supporting and loving those kids and bringing healing to them just by being there for them. You can be a healer by being a police officer on the road and bringing support to the community, bringing healing to the community. So being a healer, so if your chart, I don't know if it comes up in the charts like this, but if your chart says you've got the healer energy, it's not just that one thing. You can be the healer you can simply just listen and be a good listener. And that could be healing as well. So there's this, the world has put a box around what something should be, and we need to look a little bit wider.
Yes, absolutely. I do work with people that say, "Oh, I was told I'm this and I must do this." I'm like, and that's not really the way it works. As I say, it's a roadmap, and it allows you to see parts of yourself that you
Yeah.
might not be aware of again. And then some people are like, going, "Oh my God, that so makes sense. My life makes sense." Do you know what I mean? And that's basically what I'm here to do, is to help people to find and see themselves for who they truly are because they've lost their
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Um,
Beautiful.
So yeah, there's so many moving parts in the human design. But when people say to me, okay, well, how do I get started, or how can I find out about human design? There's really three main parts, and if they kind of know these or have some knowledge of this, this can help them. So we basically have five different energy types, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In human design. So there's our manifester, our generator, our manifesting generator, our projector, and a reflector. So everybody is one of five types.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that is the first thing that people, I suppose, need to know what type that they are.
Yeah.
And this, for most people, straight away be like, oh my God, that so makes sense. So I can run through them really, really quickly, if that's right,
Yeah.
Leonie, just for your listeners.
Yeah,
So first of
absolutely.
all, we have our manifestors. So that's 9% of the population. So that is you. So our manifestors are really like go-getters, independent, and they're kind of good at doing that projects. They just go out there and do it. They don't have to ask for permission. And they're kind of like the inventors, right? I have
Yeah.
my oldest daughter as a manifestor. So it's interesting parenting a manifestor. We've pretty much all been conditioned to be manifestors, just get stuff done, be proactive, get out there, but that's not always the way. The manifestors are the only ones that can really do that. But then they don't have the energy to sustain it. They start all this stuff and typically then they will pass it on, or they brainstorm, they get stuff going, they initiate things, all that, and then they can pass it on. The main
Yeah.
thing about manifestors is it's wise for them to inform people what they're doing. They're not asking for permission, but they're saying, hey, by the way, I'm doing this. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah.
Because if manifestors typically do something and they don't let people know, people feel like they've been secretive, or they've gone behind their back, or they've been blindsided. And so it's just to make sure that nobody, there's no surprises. And it's really good if you are a parent, if you have a manifestor, to allow them to let you know what they're going to do, because they're going to do it anyway. So, for example, they're going to go out and ride their bike. They're not asking permission, can I go outside and ride my bike? They're saying, I'm going to ride my bike. Because if you have that open communication now, it just avoids all these power struggles when they get a little bit older, and it'll save them going behind your back, because they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Manifestors, you do what you want to do anyway. Just let people know.
Yeah.
That resonate with you, Leonie, because you're a
Oh,
manifester?
so deeply. So many stories there. And yes, with the manifester, we definitely like big on starting projects. We're quick to act on that intuition that comes through, quick on acting on the intuition, on the information, getting it started. It's often the see-through, the long-term, the longer steps, the longer term energy that needs to go in there. That's a struggle for us
Yeah,
manifestors. And
exactly.
that's where we need to know that we know you need a business partner who can actually take that next step and actually run with the project, right?
Yeah, or even a team, but you're not supposed to do the
Yeah.
whole project. You're here to get it started. You're the instigator,
Yeah.
initiator, the inventor. Also something to be mindful as a manifester is if anger shows up, it means something's out of alignment. So it needs to shift, change, or let it go.
Yeah.
So that is your not self-tame anger. And just to have that awareness of that. Okay, so I'll move on to the generators. So generators are about 35% of the population. And
Mhm.
these are this beautiful enveloping energy as well. They are like very capable. They're energetic, so they're like the workhorses. They're stable. They're steady. They get stuff done. And they do things with their guts. So they are like an energetic gut sacral being. So their
Oh.
intuition is always from their gut. It's always when they are making decisions, I suppose, that sorts of thing. It comes from their gut intuition. Generators is get frustrated when they're out of alignment also. So what that looks like is, again, if the frustration is showing up in any part of their life, they need to check in with their guts. Is this for me? Yes or no? Just
Mm.
those yes or no questions. And they're best to make decisions in response to something. So the manifestors, like yourself, you can just go out and do stuff, just to inform people what you're doing. The generators respond to things in life, to yes or no, or this or that. So
Mm.
whether it's a job or a relationship or what to have for breakfast. Because typically what happens is we get a lot in our head when we're making decisions as well, and we go up and do a pros and cons list and all these things that we've been conditioned to do. And
Yeah.
really, where we make decisions is our body. So that's for your generators there. And the manifesting generators is the next one, and they're 35% of the population. They're sort of a mix of a generator and a manifester. So they are actually quite the same as both. They have elements of both, but what they do is they are always constantly stopping and starting things. They have lots of projects on the go. They are designed to have lots of things on the go at the same time because they have that energy. They're the ones that are like impatient. They're always tapping their feet. They're on to the next thing. They're the people as well that start things and then stop them because they're following their gut. They're like, it doesn't light me up anymore, so I'm going to let it go.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating for people watching or looking in. They're like, they're so flaky because there's can't commit to anything, but they're basically built this way, and this is where their
Yeah.
magic is. So again, for them, they also have that gut, the same as the generator. So they're always checking in. Does this light me up? Does this bring me joy? Yes or no? Do I continue? Do I let it go? And asking themselves that decision. Their not self team shows up as frustration or anger. So if that's showing up, then do I need to drop this? Do I need to pivot it? Do I need to let it go?
Mm.
Do you have any manifesting generators in your life?
I know I've got to hang on, let me grab the charts here.
Yeah.
So I've got yeah, I've got a manifesting generator and I've got a projector.
Okay. So the manifesting generator as well is like quick out the door. You're like they're like go from 0 to 100 like a
Oh
million
yeah.
miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're
Yeah.
very quick, impatient, and sometimes they've missed important steps and then they may need to come back and redo them.
And rotate.
But yeah, so that's those three. So then we move on to our projectors. So your
Yeah.
projectors are about 20% of the population, and they're more like insightful, intuitive, wise. They might come across sometimes as introverted.
Yeah.
And they are basically, this is me as well. So when they make decisions or do things, it needs to come from sometimes like an invite. So they've been invited to do things. They're not going to put themselves out there. It's like the child that's at the playground. Most kids will just join in and jump on the jumping castle. Before
Nope.
a projector, you say, would you like to come and join us? Would you like to come and do this with us? And
Yeah.
that is just this innate sort of I guess, energy that's in the body. But yeah, when they are like out of alignment, that comes up as bitterness. You know, so if they're just feeling like they're not seen or not recognized, projectors a lot of the time feel that they're not seen or recognized. Or if they talk or speak up or in conversations, they feel like they're invisible a lot of the time because everybody else is doing their thing and talking to them. And so typically it's like inviting projectors into a conversation. And as well, because they're very wise and insightful, they actually have a lot of advice if you hear it or ask for it. Because if they give it without being invited, it comes across as maybe even a bit bossier and know it all or condescending, you know, that sort of thing in life. Does that resonate? Does that sound like your daughter?
Absolutely. My youngest was my eldest. She was, when we stopped the car at the playground, she was off. You would not see her until it was time to come back. She would make friends, everything. And then you've got the young one, which is the projector. And I would take her to the playgrounds and she would be sitting next to me. And for that 2 hours that I'm there, she would be sitting next to me. And it was really hard for me as a parent. At that time, I didn't understand that she was a projector, obviously. So we've gone through, so now she's, you know, she's a teenager, 15 years old. So I understand her a little bit better now. Now that I know a little bit about the projector, a little bit more about her, but you know, as you're talking, I'm also already getting a better understanding of, you know, who she is, and it's so valuable for parents to know this, for sure.
Oh, I know. And I actually have a free resource, how to communicate with your kids due to their human design. So they can download it on my website. So you can put a
So
link to that as well.
we'll put,
Um,
yes.
But yeah, I mean, they're just all little tweaks. You're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I can see that, you know. And this is why I loved it so much, especially for the parenting, because I am a projector and I'm married to a manifesting generator. And we have a manifestor, a generator, and a projector. So I have all the types in my house and I
Yeah,
live with
wow.
them. So I have firsthand day-to-day knowledge,
Yeah.
and experience, I guess, in all of these. And the way that I speak to them or ask them to make decisions or for breakfast and everything is very different.
Different, yeah.
Because I try and honor that difference in them when I
Yeah.
can, um, so they don't feel like, they're not seen or not heard or not themselves.
Yeah.
But last but not least, we have the reflectors. So they're 1%. And that's basically what the name says. They reflect community, they reflect the collective, they reflect the environment, they reflect their peers, their friends, that all this. They're usually quite huge empaths, not
Yeah.
necessarily all the time, but they make decisions kind of like how they're feeling. Because they have a completely white chart, typically when people do their charts, there's lots of different colors and lines and all these lovely different things going on. Reflectors are complete white charts, so they're basically exposed and absorb everything around them, everything that's going on around them. So if you have a reflector, is to be aware of that to protect their energy, and that they usually reflect the health of everything that's going on around them, whether it's the friends or the family or the
Yeah.
school or whatever it is. And their not self-esteem comes up as disappointment, um, surprise and disappointment. So if they're feeling disappointed, that's when something is out of alignment, and we need to have a look at that. And that's kind of like that in a nutshell. So that's
Yeah,
kind of a
wow.
little
Yeah.
bit about our 5. And even from that, perhaps like you, Leonie, you can kind of decipher or think of people in your life and go, oh my gosh, yes, that sounds so much like them. Maybe they are that.
Yeah.
However, before I found my human design, I am a projector and I was living life as a manifester or manifesting generator. Go, 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 hustle, grind, be proactive, get out there, get shit happening. I was completely burnt out because that's who I
Yeah.
thought I was. That's who I was conditioned to be.
Yeah.
And then when I saw myself, it gave me the freedom to be like, done. That's not me.
Yeah.
And then it was like I had like these shackles taken off me. I was just like, wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, it
And
is.
goosebumps here everywhere. I was just telling you about that. But it's so much freedom to just seeing yourself who you truly
Yeah,
are.
it is. It's I think especially like especially in the world that we're in when it comes to like this, manifesting, the word manifesting. You want to
Yeah.
manifest your desires, not human design manifester. We get caught up in the manifesting process, in the doing, and we can even get caught in that. And then, even like you said, you as a projector, you are going to manifest different in the world than what I'm going to manifest. And I believe that there's other places in the chart that tells you, I think there's a direct or indirect manifestors as well. So there's that aspect of you too. So just
Yeah,
the thing
there's so many
about
moving parts.
manifesting, there's so many different ways that we can actually do it, right?
Yeah, there's so many different ways. And actually we had gate. Oh, my head's down. We had a gate like literally about a week and a half ago. That was all around manifesting and bringing things to fruition, to come out of like the shadow of daydreaming, and to bring it actually into our lives, and how to bring it into our lives. So there's stuff happening in the cosmos all the time that is igniting parts in our charts that we don't have access to all the time, but we do when the planets are shifting around the cosmos. So, sometimes people also come to me, and I've regressed, I think, from what you asked me, and so apologies. We can look at dates in the future that they might say, hey, you know what? What would be a good date for me to do this event? Or what would be a good date to have, to get married on, or have a party, or launch this, or do you know what I mean? So there's things that are activated in the chart that's not always there, but will give you that burst of energy. Because, you ever find days where you're feeling more creative? Or
Yeah.
weeks that you're just like, oh my God, I'm on fire. Let's
Yeah.
do stuff. And then you just go, boom. And there's so many different elements, obviously, as well, that our cycles, our hormones, the moon, it's never ending. but there are
It is.
parts, not
Yeah.
just in our charts. Some stuff in our charts, we have access to it all the time. You know, we have access to that energy consistently all the time, but there's other parts that come into play as well. And so
Yeah.
just again, if you don't have, if some people are saying, oh my God, that's crap. I don't like the one I am. It sucks. I want to be this one. You know, again, not putting you in a box, but there's going to be parts of you also that we're not going to have time to go into and that light up, that are centers in you that have different themes that you have access to you and you can like hone into the energies of that.
Yeah. It's almost like the image, the image that I just got was like we all have these little bits of magic within us that light up in different areas and that we can utilize. Like it's a tool bag essentially.
Yes.
You can tap into certain energies that will help you manifest and will give you energy and that will, help you find love, and it will do all these things for you. But it's just kind of getting to know yourself a little bit and then knowing at which time or in which circumstances, or how to say yes and no, and how to set boundaries, and all that. Those are all little things that we can do for ourselves to help us become the better version or the best version of ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. So if you know yourself and your energy type and how you make a decision and how you move in the world, then if you were just living your life, experiment with those bits, then everything shifts and you attract the rest of the stuff into your life because you need to
Mhm.
know and love and understand yourself first. And then everything just falls into place. Um, so it's kind of crazy. Like I was like, the manifesting generators and the generators, making decisions from their gut. But there's different ways in the chart how we can make decisions. So from yourself, Leonie, you make decisions from your spleen. So you're a splenic manifester, and I'm also
Yeah.
a splenic projector, which means that when you make decisions from your spleen, it's like this primal instinct. Very quick, it's very instantaneous. It can
Oh,
keep you
very.
safe. It can be just like this, like knowing God, boom. It just comes out of nowhere. It's like nearly like you've just channeled something. You're like, you have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get it out there. If
All
you
that
think about
knowing.
it or
Yeah.
or do too much with it, then it's gone, or it's lost the energy, or
Yeah.
you know, it's done. But in the same sense, it's stuff like that that keeps you out of danger. Maybe you like go the same route to get your groceries every week, and one day you decide to take a different route, and then
Yeah.
you find out there was a fatality on that. The spleen keeps us out of danger with close calls. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you've had this knowing or instinct going, don't do this or do this, and it's
Oh,
kept you safe.
every day. Every
Yeah,
day.
I'm getting shivers. You can't see
Yeah,
me.
me too. Yep. Yeah.
So that is how people with a splenic authority make decisions. If
Mm.
you if you get your chart, and you can get a free chart on my website, when it says your inner authority, that is how you make decisions. So it's usually your sacral, that is your gut, which the manifesting generators have. None of the rest of us have that. Or your
Mm.
spleen, which is your primal instinct, and or your solar plexus, which is your emotional. So half of the population, 50% of the population, make their decisions from their feelings or emotions.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to say something in case people are following and they're getting a bit confused. What if you're an emotional authority and you also have your sacral, your gut? So, what if you are an emotional generator or an emotional manifesting generator? It means that you have both of those to make decisions. You check in with your gut. Does this light me up? Does this bring me joy? Yes or no? If it's a yes, sit on it for 24 hours till you get to an emotional clarity and then come back in and check with yourselves. For
Yeah.
everybody else, they can just make a decision from their emotional authority. What does that look like? It just means that you have high highs and low lows. It means that you are best not to make a decision when you are in a high or when you are in a low. And it's usually typically, I tell people, it would be wise to wait at least 24 to 48 hours before making a decision if you have that emotional authority. Because what happens is you make decisions, bad decisions, and you regret them a few hours or a day or two later. Whether
Yeah.
And especially for a manifesting generator, it's like if they're emotional. It's like hide their wallet, hide their phone, hide their keys because they're going to make a hasty decision when they're in a high or a low. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's just to have again that awareness of it. You know, we're
Yeah.
living in a society that people are like, do it now. It's yesterday. You're going to miss out. Or you're going to miss the boat. People have FOMO, and I'm always saying to people, if something is for you, it's going to be there in a day or two. And if it's not there, it's not for you, or it'll circle back when the time is right.
Yeah.
Um,
I want
and then
to,
yeah,
yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say the last way that people make decisions is the reflector because they don't have any colors in their charts. They need to wait the 28th day of the lunar cycle. So they need to feel all the planets in their body typically before making a decision, which is the 28th day lunar cycle.
Yeah, wow. So I want to go just quickly touch on something because you mentioned there that was it the generator and the manifesting generator that makes decisions from the gut.
Yeah, so they always
So-
have their gut defined or they have their sacral. They are sacred beings. They are the energetic beings. The
Yeah,
manifesting generators and generators always have that energy that they can tap into. The other three of us do not.
yeah. So I want to just quickly, so if you're listening right now and you are saying, but I'm like for me, manifester but I like trust my gut, follow my gut. If you are referring to the gut as your intuition, because that gut feeling, okay, we all have intuition. Okay, so when we talk about the gut in this way, I think the way that human design explains that energy is a little bit different than when we talk about intuition, which every one of us has and can develop. It's not a gut feeling, it's an energy, solar plexus energy.
Yes, yes. Sorry, we all do have intuition.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I
I
don't
just
have.
wanted to clarify. I understand, but I wanted to
Yeah,
just make that bring clarity for people. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Yes, we absolutely all have intuition. It's the more I guess it's the energy that's in the charts that has that sacral.
yeah.
Another good tip is generators and manifesting generators respond better to yes or no questions or this or that. And that's good to know if you're married to one or live with one or have friends with them. So that helps them to make their decisions as well from the sacral. So, you know, somebody might say to
Yeah.
Leonie or myself, because we're manifestor or projectors, like, what you want for breakfast? And we can answer. But 70% of the population cannot answer that question. But if you say, hey, do you want eggs or smoothie for breakfast? Then they'll be like, oh, eggs, yes or no. Smoothie, yes or no. Or would
Yeah,
you like eggs for breakfast? Yes or no.
yeah.
So again, I can ask
They,
my manifestor daughter what you want for breakfast. She can answer me. But my generator, I have to give her one choice or two choices
yeah.
because it gets into
Yeah.
overwhelm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, oh, so much. Like Phoebe will she's the manifesting generator. So you, if you talk to her for too long, if you give her too many options, if you go too much into details, her eyes glaze over. Like you
Yeah.
lose her completely. You've got to be really short, sharp, and I can get away with, Chloe, who's the projector, I can get away with a little bit more words with her,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
which is interesting. Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
and
So
this is so powerful if you know your kids, you can give them the option. Then you don't have that struggle in the morning to get them dressed. You go, choose
exactly.
that
Do you
or
want
that.
this or this?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Or do you
it.
want this? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Instead of like, what do you want? Honestly, it's a game changer just having that little tip for kids or people in your life. You know what I mean? When they want to make decisions, should I just want this or this?
Yeah,
Or do you want
true.
this? Yes or no? You know, do
Yeah,
you want the job? Yes or no? Oh, nobody's actually asked me that before. No. Okay, there you go. We're
that's it.
done.
That's it. Yeah, powerful, powerful, right? So
Yeah,
I want
very
to,
simple.
yeah, very simple. Now, I want to ask this question, but I've got a feeling that it's a big ask, a big question. So what are the profiles? Like, can you give us a basic understanding of what the profiles are?
Yeah, okay. Mm, so basically, profiles are any numbers between 1 and 6, and they have, again, different themes to them. One, if you have Okay, how can I explain this? It is a big question. Okay. Um, okay, so it usually has two numbers, right? So let's just say you're a 5 and 1 or a 1 and 3 or 4, 6, whatever it is. The first number that you see is the number that comes out in your personality, I suppose, right? It's your
Okay.
personality, it's how you see yourself and how others see you. And then the second number is like the unconscious part. So it's what's underneath the surface. That sometimes you cannot see it, but other people can see it in you. Okay. So we start
Okay.
off with that. The conscious and unconscious, and what you can plainly see and what other people can see in you also. Does that make sense so far, Leonie?
Yes.
Because when I know this, it's simple to me, but I just want to make sure that I can explain it. Can you hear dogs barking in the background, by the way?
No, I can't. Don't worry
No,
about
that's
it. Yeah.
fine because my dogs are barking.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So let's make it a little bit easier because I think you're kind of trying to find. So use mine as an example so people can get an understanding
Okay.
of what it is. That will help you explain.
Okay. All right. So a profile can be anywhere between a number 1 and 6, and it has two numbers, a first number or a second number. So in Leonie's case, she's a number 5. So number fives are, if it's a number between 1, 2, and 3, they're mostly like interpersonal lines and more introverted lines. And the 4, 5, and 6 are more, I suppose, extroverted and doing things for more community, friends, family, collective. Okay. So you have a 5-1, which means that the 5 line comes through as like a leader, a natural guide, a natural teacher, but it's also a projected line. So in a 5, people can project their stuff onto you. And typically, what that looks like in a 5 is that you are putting out fires all the time. You attract people to you that want to be saved, that they want you to rescue them, that they want to like help me, Leonie. You're this wonderful leader and guide and mentor, and I need you to help me. So, and that is like a theme of the 5 your whole life, and it's just to have that awareness and have those boundaries because they will
Boundaries.
suck the life out of you. And that's basically what you'll spend your whole life doing is putting out everybody else's fires and have no energy for your own stuff. But number
Yeah.
fives are great at getting something. You're like, how can I make something great out of something good? You take something good and make it better, make it greater for the collective, for
See the
everybody. Do you know what I
possibilities.
mean?
Yeah.
Yes. But then you have this other side to you as a 1. So you have this introverted side to you that likes to
Yeah.
be away from people in your little space, in your little cave, just doing your own thing, being in your own energy. And you have a side to you that when you like are interested in something, then you can dive really deep into it and like to know everything about it, 110%, every facet, every this and that, like
Mhm.
being like a little expert, like a little nerd in it. You know what I mean? They can ask you everything about it and you know it inside out.
Yeah.
That is you. That's a 5-1. Does that resonate with you?
100%. You know what? I actually just realized it then. I have my entire life. I have always said, as a young kid, I always said, if you wanted me to be, the outgoing extrovert, I could be that. But if you wanted me to be the quiet one at home, I could be that. There was these two sides of the coin with me all the time. And I think now that I'm just further along on my journey, I have a deep understanding and know that there are going to be times where I am out there doing it, pushing hard, out there extrovert, and then there's the flip side of that. 2 days later, I'll have to be introvert. I have to be at home. Don't show me people. Don't tell me to go to the shops. So there's this balance.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with both those energies comes boundaries, that a real knowing and understanding of who I am, what I'm willing to do, not willing to do. So that has been huge for me. Yeah. So that makes so much sense.
fantastic. So there are lots of different profiles,
Yeah.
and it'll take too long to go into all of them, but that's just to give people a snapshot. But we do go into those as well in readings.
Yeah,
Um,
beautiful. So am I understanding this correctly? So there's six is it profiles is the word? Yeah, 6
No,
profiles.
there's more than 6 profiles, but it can be a number. The first number can be a number between 1 and 6, and the second number can be a number between 1 and 6.
So is there 6 extroverted and 6 introverted, or is it just
Not necessarily.
numbers
They
one
can
to
be
6?
changed. Yeah. So there's lots of different numbers. But typically, if you have a number 1 to 3 in there, that means like you're more. Yeah, I don't want to
Introverted.
put people in a box. You're not more introverted, interpersonal. That's what I like to say. But I have a
Okay.
daughter who's a manifester. She's a 1-3, so they're both interpersonal lines. But she is out there. She is outgoing. She's lots of friends.
Ah,
She's doing sports. She's because again, there's so many different moving parts in the charts. We're only kind of scratching the surface.
yeah.
And
Okay.
that
Yeah.
again, I don't want to put
I
people in a box. Yeah,
no. I can totally see. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're feeling.
yeah, okay.
So just understanding that, that there are 2 sides to every person, and your chart's going to show you kind of, if you in the 1s to 3s on both sides, you're going to be very different to a person who's got, 4 to 6s on both
Yeah,
sides, for
so
instance.
I'm a 4-6, you know, and
Okay, so oh wow.
yeah, so I'm a little bit different, but there's quite 4 to 6 is like there's about 15% of the population,
So
14% of
so
the
how
population.
so okay, so give us, so if you don't mind sharing, so what is a 4-6? So how does that energy fit with you?
Okay, so the 4-6, so basically the 4, if anybody is a 4 in their chart, they kind of say it's like the social butterfly, the networker. Okay, so
Yeah.
we like to do things and we like to be surrounded by friends, family, and we do things for the collective and the community as well. And we have open hearts and we see the best in people, but that can be to our detriment because we can then just be shut down when people let us down or do nasty things or people are just
Yeah.
shitty. So that's the 4 part. And then, we are best to do things within our our community or the people that we do know, you know what I mean, within our
Mhm.
network. And that's how we do business. And we're good at bringing people together to help them collaborate. And then the 6 is like if anyone has a 6 in their profile, it's like a wise old sage. It's like you kind of have this visionary. You have this kind of visionary farsightedness, kind of like a wise old sage on a hill or like an owl, and you're looking down on, not looking down on people, but I suppose that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
analogy is that you can see
See
what's
the
going
bigger
on
picture.
and you're helping. You have
Yeah.
a 5, so you're in the middle of them as well. So the 5 is
Yeah.
almost at that 6. You can
Yeah.
see the bigger picture.
Yeah, so it says here, so the 5-1, the challenge solver. And so for me, I see like, I see the next step. I see possibilities. I see bigger pictures. And
Yeah,
that's something that's helped me tremendously with my clients because I can see their potential. I can see where the pitfalls are. I can see where the blocks are. I can see. So it's just part of me. It's part of my
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
And
So
now
you're
that I'm
taking something good and making it great, making it better, but
yeah,
for everybody. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
everybody benefits. Yeah,
yeah.
beautiful.
But there's also, and I'm going to just put myself out there because this is something my attention's been drawn to this a few times in my life. And I've just really had to learn to step back when, because I can see those things, it's not my place to always step into that space and help make it better, say things. If somebody's walking in the shops and I can see what they're looking like, I just intuitively know what they're looking for. I know where it is, where to find it. It's not up to me to walk in up to every single person in the shops and go, I know where you can find that. It's over there. It's like, it's their journey, Leonie. Walk
Yeah,
away. So
yeah,
we have to, even though we can make that big and great, there's also a flip side to that where it becomes a negative for us. So balance.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or if you're a projector, you have to wait to be invited. Oh no, I'm
Yeah.
just joking. Yeah,
Well,
but you know
yeah,
what? An invite for projector doesn't even have to look like a formal invite saying, "Can you help me with this?" or "Can we do this?" Do you know what I mean? It can be that inner knowing and your your intuition or channeling something like, "Oh, that's my invite. I'm getting it out there." You know.
yeah, that's it. Very true,
Um,
very true.
so some of this is going to really resonate with some people, and some people may have questions. I have got loads of free content on my website, so anyone can go in there and have a look. I know it's loads of stuff. I have I know what it's like. You just get buried in this rabbit hole of just keep going and keep going and get all the
Oh
information.
yeah,
So it's all
yeah,
there
for
for
sure.
people. It's at their
Now,
fingers.
Stephanie, I am, you know what? With this conversation can go on for 6 hours. I know that. I am mindful of your time, especially since we had a bit of a slow start with the technology. So I just, first of all, thank you so much for coming on and kind of just telling us, sharing a little bit about this magic that you have and what we can learn about ourselves. Before we go, can I ask you, can you just please tell the audience where they can reach you? And I'll make sure that all the links are in the comments, but please tell them where they can reach you, where they can follow you, where they can listen to you if you're on other platforms, what you have to offer. If you've got something free for them, just share it, and then I'll make sure the information is in the notes for them.
Yeah, no worries. So my website is www.stephmccurdy.com. So you can do your charts there for free to find out exactly what you are if you're curious. I also have free downloadables for both human design and gene keys. There's a couple there for parenting, which are amazing, like how to communicate with your child when you find out their human design. Some great tips and tricks there. I have videos there as well, short videos for people if they want to go into any aspects of anything in their human design chart. And what I have at the moment, I have some workshops coming out and some programs in Gene Keys and human design. So I'll be dropping them to my email list. And you can find me on Facebook. I don't hang out on Instagram. I don't, I'm too old and that out. But if Facebook, I'm on Facebook, and I also have a private group Facebook. Um, a Facebook group with human design and gene keys in it. So thank you so much, Leonie, for giving me the
Beautiful.
opportunity to share this with people. It's life changing. And yeah, it's been a journey for me. It's changed my life.
It's beautiful. I can see your passion, and we've known each other for a little while, kind of through babysitting and you, my daughter. So, and obviously circles in the spiritual circles as well. So I know that you are going to do great things, continue to do great things. I'm looking really forward to having you on board in Sacred Healing as one of the experts to come and present this beautiful modality to teach the students, that this is how they can get to know themselves and how beautiful this is to support them on their spiritual journey. So thank you again. One final question for you. If you can only leave or bring one awareness to the world, what would that be?
What awareness to the world. You mean through the human design and gene keys?
Well, I don't know, just for life. If there's one thing that you've learned, awareness that you have in your life that has changed your life, what would that
Yeah,
be? What is that
you know what?
awareness
I
that
would
you
just
want
say
to
just
leave?
be yourself and learn who you are, because you came here for a reason. You chose this human experience. You chose this journey. You chose to be here now, and you are needed. Your gifts are needed, and to
Mm.
just step out into it. You are here for a reason. You are uniquely you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are enough.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. All right, guys. We are going to make sure that we have all the show notes for you, all the links in the show notes for you guys. So keep an eye out. If you are listening on Spotify, you can also find the video on YouTube, and also the other way around. If you're on YouTube, you can find it on iTunes and Spotify and iHeartRadio. And then I will see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Bye.